Hey, this is Mark Johnson with Iconica Sight and Sound Studios. Um, something's something's been bothering me for the longest time. Um, I'm sitting here watching YouTube on my living room TV, and I see it a lot on YouTube, Facebook groups when discussing string tension for sustain, better tone, things like that on guitars. Um, the prevailing, I not prevailing, but the idea that I see a lot of is that if you make the angle of the string steeper from saddle and bridge to stop piece or guitar, from this to this, there's more contact, greater tension, better sustain, better tone. It's or you arrive at this idea a couple different ways. One is you put your stop piece closer to the bridge, creating a greater angle, like on a Gibson stop piece bridge. Get it closer somehow, you got a greater angle. Or where they wrap around the tailpiece, they go under it and over it, creating more contact and a greater angle. Um, it's I'm sorry, it's nonsense. Let me tell you why. I don't mean to be rude or confrontational, but it's just nonsense. And you can argue in the comment section if you want to, but please just first listen to reason. A string vibrates so many times per minute to achieve a note. That vibration has to be a certain tension to achieve that vibration. That tension is arrived by tuning your guitar to a certain point, a certain tension. And then you get an A note or an E note or a B note, whatever. If you change the angle of the string that's connecting with the saddle, and you're saying, okay, now I've got more tension, more contact. First of all, there's no more contact. It's the same amount of contact, but now you have a steeper angle. That's true. But do you have more tension? Well, if you do have more tension, then you also have changed the pitch of your note. And so you have to go to your tuner and lessen that tension to achieve the note you originally had, which was the correct E. But now the tension's less. What have you achieved? It's like um, taking this is an example I can think of. You got a rope tied to a tree going across a pulley to a 6 foot tall man. He's holding the end of the rope. Because he's taller, he can reach higher, and so the angle can be from the pulley to the man, the angle can be higher. You have achieved a certain tension, so there's no loop in that rope or no bow in that loop or rope. Now you bring along someone else, a shorter, let's say a man who's 5'2", or a boy, a kid who's 5'2". He's in order to get the same thing going on, he has to come forward to grab the rope because he can't reach as high. Now there's a steeper angle going to that pulley. If there is a bow, then the kid will have to pull on the rope to straighten it out, which will create the same amount of tension regardless of the angle. It is pure, and I'm not a big science. I mean, I love science, but I'm not a big science guy. I'm not brilliant at it, but it's just physics. If you do change the tension on the string by pulling it the angle steeper, it's going to change the tension of the. If it did change it, it's going to change the tension of the note, the vibration of the note. You have to loosen your string at the tuner to go back to where you were. You've lost all that supposed tension you got. A note on the guitar has to have an exact tension to achieve the note you want. If you change that tension, make it greater or lesser, you've got to retune to go back to where you were. I don't know how else to say it. Um, if your string is barely touching your saddle, yeah, it can vibrate and it doesn't have a great connection. But once you get it touching solid, then it doesn't matter what angle you put this string at. It doesn't matter what angle you're going to put the string at. You're going to get a constant tension if your note is tuned to where it's supposed to be tuned. That's it. Argue with me if you wish. Thanks. Mark Johnson.